All right, folks, if I could have your attention, I'd like to call this meeting to order. This is a regular meeting of the Council of the City of Ottawa, Illinois. Madam Clerk, would you call the roll, please?
Awesome. Gainier.
Here.
Eichelkraut.
Here.
Less.
Here.
Mayor.
Here.
We have 4 present.
Would you all stand, please, and join in the Pledge of Allegiance? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Moved by Commissioner Less that the minutes of a regular meeting of the Council of the City of Ottawa, Illinois, held on Tuesday, March 20th, 2018, be approved as recorded in the permanent files of the City Clerk.
Is there a second to the motion? Commissioner Gainier, any discussion or any suggested corrections or changes? Roll call.
Gainier.
Aye.
Eichelkraut.
Aye.
Less.
Aye.
Mayor.
Aye. Is there anyone wishing to address the council tonight? Yes.
Let's get everything situated here. Tom, if you'll take over and hand those along, that would be great. Good evening, Mr. Mayor, Commissioners. My name is Donna Nordstrom, and I am here as the Marketing Chair of the Reddick Mansion Association. As you know, in August of 2017, we took ownership of the building. As part of that agreement, we agreed to spend $700,000 on the exterior restoration of the building. As part of our commitment to that, we have signed a contract with Ann Sullivan, the historic architect who did the historic structure report for the mansion in 2013. We've also signed a contract with Basali, Carey, and Allstad, the local architectural firm that will be the architect of record during the restoration. Last week, Angela from BCA, along with 2 of our board members, Diane Burtwell and Steve Meyer, spent several hours at the Reddick Mansion evaluating the interior of all the windows. Weather permitting, we're hoping they're going to get the exterior of the windows done soon. We're going to take that most current information and make it part of our scope of work as part of our request for proposals as we start the restoration work on the building. Ann is also working with BCA right now on setting up our list of pre-qualifications for all contractors wishing to do work at the mansion. As this exterior work goes on, we continue to operate the mansion as the tourist destination in Ottawa. In 2017, we had more than 4,400 people visit the Reddick Mansion. Of those people that took tours, approximately 65% of them were from more than 50 miles away, and that same percentage of people told us they were in Ottawa as a day trip to visit the mansion and to visit Ottawa. We had representatives from 35 different states, including Vermont, Florida, and Hawaii. We had visitors from 4 different continents and 5 different foreign countries. At the end of December, we had a family group from Pakistan that toured the Reddick Mansion. We are respectfully requesting $5,650 to be used for the marketing of the Reddick Mansion. As you can see, we have very specific uses for that money. We distribute approximately 5,000 rack cards every year. We distribute them throughout LaSalle County. They are in Norway, Ottawa, Streator, Oglesby, Utica, LaSalle, Peru. We also have rack cards in Bureau County, Grundy County, Livingston County, and Will County. A significant amount of our marketing budget is also spent on print advertising and regional visitors guides. We advertise in the LaSalle County Visitors Guide, the Heritage Corridor Visitors Guide, and in Starved Rock Country Magazine. Last week, Lorraine McAllister, our board president, and I met with 2 different companies about video advertising for the Reddick Mansion. One spoke with us about advertising in movie theaters, and another one about a new TV program in the Chicagoland market that will focus on tourism destinations in Illinois and the states surrounding. We're very excited about this new opportunity and we're looking forward to learning more about it. We would greatly appreciate the city's financial assistance as we continue to market the city and the mansion throughout the region and the state. Thank you.
Thank you, Donna. And as you probably know, it's budget time, so your
Oh, yeah.
presentation is quite timely.
We
And-
try.
Okay. And we'll be meeting, I'm not sure when the next budget meeting is, but we'll be meeting next week or two. And make sure that it's on the agenda, we'll discuss it, and hopefully
Wonderful.
it can help out.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, and thanks for all the hard work you're doing. Appreciate that. Anybody else like to address the council tonight? Katie?
Short people. It's nice to see so many people here this evening that care about Ottawa, and wonderful city council members. Thank you for being here. I am before you tonight because I have questions, and I'm hoping that we can get some answers. And the reason I have questions is because it's come to my attention that a private property owner would like to remove a mural and put it into storage, the Lincoln Douglas mural. Ottawa is my home. This is a place that I care deeply about. I've fought for this community since 1980 when we started fighting a hazardous waste landfill. At that time, I was called radical and against progress because there were jobs at stake for a hazardous waste landfill. Now, I've been called some pretty good names also because I come out and said, hey, wait a minute, you're going to take a mural down and put it in storage? What's the plan? Where is it going? What's going to happen here? You know, Bob, I remember introducing you to Leonard Locke, and that you and Leonard Locke wrote a grant for Washington Park. And I remember that you guys were shocked when you got it.
That's how I got the urge to do grant applications.
That's right. Leonard Locke and I were on the committee that worked on the legislation that created the Illinois and Michigan Canal as a National Heritage Corridor. Washington Park and the Lincoln Douglas debate is a part of that history. And we really need to be careful what we're going to do if we're going to try and destroy that. School kids come from miles around to do walking tours of Ottawa for those murals. It's not just paint on a wall. There was money spent, people donated time and effort. I'd also like to know, since one of the murals is on my building in downtown Ottawa, I mean, I've made an investment in this community. I care. How is the ownership? I know I own the bricks, but I believe the Ottawa Visitor Center owns the mural. A couple years ago, Bob, you approached me and there was a crack in the front of the brick on my building, and I had the tuck pointing done. And the Visitor Center paid for that mural to be touched up. Is that how that works? Does the Ottawa Visitor Center own those murals?
Okay.
Can anybody answer these questions? I'm just raising it because I've heard that this mural is going to be taken down in the middle of the night and put into storage. And I have a little bit of experience with that with the theater in Streeter. The theater was boarded up in the middle of the night. I had a little experience with people doing things like that. So I am a bit sensitive. So I got lots of questions and all the time in the world to hear your answers.
Well, I don't have all the answers, but I have some.
Thank you.
As your fellow old radical, was also involved in fighting hazardous waste landfills back in the late 70s and early 80s. We share a history.
We do share a history.
I just happened to be at the mural committee meeting this afternoon at 4 o'clock, so I kind of have the latest on that. I also can tell you that, as I understand it, the mural committee is a committee of the Ottawa Visitor Center, and they have contracts with some, if not all, I'm not sure if all, I'm not sure they know where all the contracts are, but with all of the building owners. I don't think any two contracts were identical. Some were for a period of years, some said that if the property is sold, that the contract can be canceled, and so forth and so on. In fact, we went through that when the canal mural was threatened, although I don't think it's threatened anymore, but I'm not sure.
Good to know, because I'm concerned
Yeah,
about that
yeah.
one as well.
But the consensus of the mural committee today was that, we talked about, or they talked about, and I sit on the committee, I'm not sure I'm a member of it, I don't think I am, but I sit on it. And the consensus was if the mural were to be moved, that the ideal location would be at the city's History and Scouting Museum. Lincoln Douglas Bay is probably the most important historical thing that happened in Ottawa, would be very appropriate at the museum. We now are also developing, in fact, when I was gone this weekend, the gravel path went in for the new blacktop walkway and bike path that will go all along Canal Street where the old lateral canal was, and it'll be a perfect opportunity to view the mural from that point. I've heard nothing about anything happening in the middle of the night. In fact, there's been a lot of discussion about how it can be done. The committee doesn't really want to move the mural twice. Every time you move it, there's potential damage. However, there is discussion of removing the first panel just to see how it works. That panel would be the easternmost panel, not where Lincoln and Douglas are, but where the crowd is. And they suggested that I talk with Mike Sutphin, who I did talk with earlier about the feasibility of moving the murals to the Scouting Museum. And he started explaining to me how it could be done. I said, that's all I need to know. I don't need to know the detail right now, but now I do. And I was asked to talk with him again and find out what the detail would be. And as what I've been told is that the Sky Museum, it's Ottawa History and Scouting Museum, is pretty excited about the possibility of the mural ending up there. So that's
Actually,
the most I know at this point.
Let me say something. Right now, I'm the chairman or board of the board or whatever it is of the Scouting Museum, Ottawa Historical and Scouting Museum. I think you read it in the paper a couple of weeks ago or a week ago, that I would love to see it come there, especially since the mayor is finishing the Riverwalk that we started in 1999, that we kind of ran out of money back in 2008. So we're getting a lot of this done now, and I will work as hard as I can to get the board to accept that mural, but I think that would be the perfect place right now. So if it's up there, it also draws people to the historical part of Ottawa Museum. And like I said, the Riverwalk's getting finished there, as the mayor mentioned, and I think that'll be a perfect site. I know it's not downtown, but still it would be even great for the Scouting Museum and Historical Museum to draw people there.
Look, I'm not about being stuck that it has to stay on Jackson Street.
Right.
I just don't want to see it go into storage and get destroyed.
Well, as you-
And I'm not against, I'd just like to make it clear, too, that I'm not against a developer who wants to invest money in our community and improve this place. But I think sometimes when they're not from here, they don't comprehend the things that have happened to make Ottawa the wonderful city that it is, and the deep roots that those of us who've lived here all of our lives have, and how much we care.
Well, I appreciate that, Katie.
So,
Although I remember when we started putting up the murals, everybody complained.
pardon me?
I said when we started putting up the murals, everybody complained.
Well,
Remember that?
I do recall, but,
I think we've got
they're
something
beautiful.
special.
They've created tourism. It makes Ottawa what Ottawa is. Bob, when you took office, I was ready to move away because Ottawa was in such a downward spiral. Daphne and I took you out on the boat and told you we weren't going to take you back to shore, for God's sakes. I love to tell that story. We kidnapped him and said, if you don't run for mayor, we're not taking you back to shore. We're going to take you to Bulls Island. He committed. A couple of girls that twisted his arm.
I think there might have been some alcohol involved, too.
There might have been. But But at any rate, we all have deep roots here. We're all friends. You know, even if we have harsh words, most of us can get over it and make up with each other. And that's what makes a community a community. So, you know, I know there were lots of people that were upset when we forced the cleanup of the Radium Dial building. You know, it was on the Superfund list, and we still have properties that are on the Superfund list that haven't been cleaned up. But at least we know where they are, and we've cleaned up most of them. This is an opportunity to do something that's right. I'm disappointed that the developer wants to move it. I think it could be worked around. But that's his choice. He owns the building. He has property rights. If we can work out a compromise,
Great.
it's better than it going to storage.
I think it's heading in the right direction, Katie, and we really appreciate your,
Thank you.
Katie, just so you know, that it was never the intent that it would go into storage indefinitely. The comment was made that find a new home for it. If we don't find a new home for it in time for them, it would
Well-
go into storage until they would do that.
I can't help how it was reported,
And-
but,
Well, you're
you
right.
know,
And
I
also-
appreciate you,
And also, if you think back, that was the first mural that actually envisioned having to be moved because it was painted on the boards instead of right on the wall.
well, I think it was painted on the boards because the wall got grooves in it,
Well,
but,
it was
but,
also because it could be.
but it's a good thing. It's a good thing.
Right,
Regardless, it's a good thing that it's on panels at this point.
absolutely.
So, thank you very much
you.
for humoring me.
thank you, Katie. Anybody else like to address the council tonight? Okay, if not, then we'll get started with the agenda. We'll go to Commissioner Eichelkraut.
Moved by Commissioner Eichelkraut that the biweekly salary payroll of March 23rd, 2018, in the amount of $368,796.59 be approved and warrants issued.
Is there a second to the motion? Commissioner Less, any discussion? Roll call.
Gainier?
Aye.
Eichelkraut?
Aye.
Less? Mayor?
Aye.
Moved by Commissioner Eichelkraut that the monthly expense report of April 3rd, 2018, showing expenses in the amount of $351,790.50 be approved and warrants issued.
Is there a second? Commissioner Eichelkraut, Commissioner Gainier, any discussion? Roll call.
Gainier?
Aye.
Eichelkraut?
Aye.
Less? Mayor?
Aye.
Moved by Commissioner Eichelkraut that a resolution authorizing the execution of a medical transportation agreement between the City of Ottawa and Secure Transportation Company of Illinois, LLC, regarding NCAT be received and placed on file for public inspection.
Is there a second? Commissioner Less, any discussion?
Yeah, Mayor, the state of Illinois has came up with a new policy that they are dealing with 7 different partners on medical transportation, which is Medicaid. And I really appreciate the legal counsel here because there's hundreds and hundreds of pages that we have to go through. And they got more rules and regulations that I've ever seen in my entire life. But you know how state works sometimes. But we're probably going to have 7 of these. We actually tabled MTM, which is another one. We're still going through trying to see what we can work out. They got a lot of things that they want us to do that, you know, we want to actually keep the buses going and keep NCAT running. And it is a big boom for us because we do make a lot of money off of Medicaid. So we're working it out. And like I said, I thank legal counsel for all the help.
Okay. Motion is to place the contract on file. Any other comments? Roll call, please.
Gainier?
Aye.
Eichelkraut?
All right.
Less? Mayor?
Aye.
Moved by Commissioner Eichelkraut that a resolution authorizing the execution of a commercial lease agreement between the City of Ottawa and Carter Development Ottawa, LLC, be received and placed on file for public inspection.
Is there a second to the motion? Commissioner Gainier, any discussion?
Yeah, Mayor, what we're looking at right now is that we have NCAT in the Public Works Building, which we have 2 little rooms. And we've expanded so much in the last month and a half that it's a little bit too small. We are building a new building and remodeling one building, but it's going to take a year or so. So I need to get some room for our people to actually have room to do their job. So what we're looking at is moving up there by China Inn. And I'm going to stay there for probably about a year while they build the building and that. But we need the room right now, and I know that Public Works would like to have their offices back. So I think it's a good plus for all of us.
Is that in the big metal building out there?
It's behind China Inn, on
Okay.
the opposite side of 2 gambling places.
Any other comment? Motions to place the contract on, or the lease on file, roll call?
Gainier?
Aye.
Eichelkraut?
Aye.
Less? Mayor?
Aye.
Moved by Commissioner Eichelkraut that a resolution approving and authorizing the execution of employment agreements for appointed city officials in Gary McConville, Dennis Butte, and Greg Schneider, all as part-time NCAP bus drivers, be received and placed on file for public inspection.
Is there a second to the motion? Commissioner Less, any discussion?
Yeah, Mayor, this is another deal where, actually, we got like 24 bus drivers, and if that's not enough, we need more, so we're looking at hiring 3 more. And earlier, we had hired, well, we're gonna hire somebody else too, but we hired people for, to take our phone calls and reservation clerks. We're just expanding. We do out the whole county. We do about 70,000 rides a year, and we're still growing. We added routes last week, and I imagine in the near future, we'll be adding more routes. We just got 4 new buses, and we're up to like 20-some buses, and we're looking at trying to pick up 6 more for next year. So I think this is a good thing for the city and the county, and I just think we gotta keep it going and keep moving forward.
Okay, any other comment? A roll call?
Gainier?
Aye.
Eichelkraut?
Aye.
Less? Mayor?
Aye.
Moved by Commissioner Eichelkraut that a resolution approving and authorizing the execution of an addendum to an employment agreement for Alicia Fuse as Medicaid specialist be received and placed on file for public inspection.
Is there a second? Commissioner Gainier, any discussion?
Yeah, Mayor, she's actually gonna take care of our Medicaid. We are hiring her part-time just to do Medicaid. At the time, we were gonna only offer a certain amount of money, and then when the state made this gigantic change and deal with 7 companies instead of 1 company, it's gonna take more time, and it's gonna be a lot more work for her, so we actually raised her wage to the exact same wage of the reservationists.
Any other comments? Roll call?
Gainier?
Aye.
Eichelkraut?
Aye.
Less? Mayor?
Aye. Anything else for the council, Commissioner Eichelkraut?
Probably said enough.
Okay. Commissioner Gainier?
We have the report of the police chief for the month of March. Squad car calls, 1,474. Arrest, 488. Prisoners, 75. Sent to state institutions, 0. Sent to the county jail, 4. Sent to juvenile probation, 8. Central Dispatch did a total of 776 911 calls, and Central Dispatch also handled 4,878 administrative calls. Moved by Commissioner Gainier that the report of Police Chief Brady Rolson for the month of March 2018 be received and placed on file.
Is there a second to the motion? Commissioner Eichelkraut, any discussion? Roll call?
Gainier?
Aye.
Eichelkraut?
Aye.
Less? Mayor?
Aye.
We have the report of the Fire Chief for the month of March. Number of bell alarms, 1. Number of still alarms, 22. Activated alarms, 24. Number of medic calls, 253. Number of transfers, 63. Mutual aid, 3. Number of patients, 251. Total calls for March, 363. Property loss was at 0. Contents loss was at $1,000. Vehicle loss was at 0 for a total loss for March of $1,000. Total our residents billed for medical services was 55. Moved by Commissioner Gainier that the report of Fire Chief Steve Haywood for the month of March 2018 be received and placed on file.
Is there a second to the motion? Commissioner Less, any discussion? Roll call?
Gainier?
Aye.
Eichelkraut?
Aye.
Less? Mayor?
Anything else for the council? Commissioner
Yes.
Gainier?
I do. I'd like to inform the public that the fire department has received a $1,000 grant from Enbridge, and they'll be using that money to buy new 4-gas monitors, which monitor CO, oxygen, and the upper and lower explosive limits. We thank Enbridge for that.
Thank you. Commissioner Less, anything for the council tonight?
I just want to let everyone know that spring is here. At some point, it's going to get here. Hopefully, no comment, spring is here yet. But the yard waste dumpsters have been returned this spring to Jackson Street. They are there and available from dusk till dawn, 7 days a week. Strictly for yard waste material, leaves, grass clippings, twigs, sticks, and plastic bags, once again, are not allowed at the drop-off facility. So, again, the dumpsters are there for yard waste, and they'll be there until most likely December again.
Thank you. Don, do you have anything for the council tonight?
I don't.
No, Mayor.
David?
No, Mayor.
We'll go to the mayor's part of the agenda.
We had the report of the registrar for the month of March. There were 33 birth certificates issued and 33 death certificates. Certified copies were issued with fees totaling $2,568. Moved by Mayor Eschbach that the report of Registrar Shelley L. Monks for the month of March 2018 be received and placed on file.
Is there a second to the motion? Commissioner Gainier, any discussion? Roll call.
Gainier?
Aye.
Eichelkraut?
Aye.
Less?
Aye.
Mayor?
Aye.
Moved by Mayor Eschbach that the report of the Parking Administration Department showing fines collected of $3,625 for the month of March 2018 be received and placed on file.
Is there a second to the motion? Commissioner Eichelkraut, any discussion? Roll call.
Gainier?
Aye.
Eichelkraut?
Aye.
Less?
Aye.
Mayor?
Aye.
We have the report of the building official for the month of March. There were 34 building permits issued, with these totaling $10,981. Total number of on-site building inspections, 44. There were 6 sign permits for $97.50, 1 pool permit for $25, 14 fence permits for $700, 2 tree care permits for $600, 28 general contractor licenses issued for $2,800, 13 electrical licenses renewed for $1,300, 4 new electrical licenses issued for $400, 11 electrical permits for $150. Total number of on-site electrical inspections, 37. We had 17 people take our electrical exam for $1,700. There were no plumbing permits issued this month, and our ordinance enforcement officer did a total of 92 inspections, and our code enforcement officer did a total of 78 inspections, for a total of permits and licenses of 115, with fees collected of $19,203.50. Moved by Mayor Eschbach that the report of building official Michael J. Sutphen for the month of March 2018 be received and placed on file.
Is there a second to the motion? Commissioner Gainier, any discussion?
Gainier?
Aye.
Eichelkraut?
Aye.
Less?
Aye.
Mayor?
Aye.
Moved by Mayor Eschbach that a resolution authorizing the execution of agreements between the City of Ottawa and multiple Riverfest vendors and allowing execution thereof be adopted.
Is there a second to the motion? Commissioner Eichelkraut, any discussion? Roll call.
Gainier?
Aye.
Eichelkraut?
Aye.
Less?
Aye.
Mayor?
Aye.
Moved by Mayor Eschbach that a resolution authorizing the execution of an intergovernmental agreement for police services and school resource officers between the City of Ottawa and Ottawa Township High School District Number 140 be received and placed on file for public inspection.
Is there a second to the motion? Commissioner Less, any discussion? This is for the school resource officer. I believe that the high school has asked for a second officer. Is that correct?
That's correct.
And they've also agreed to pay a somewhat increased rate to cover pay raises, inflation, and so forth. Motions to place it on file. Any other comment? Roll call.
Gainier?
Aye.
Eichelkraut?
Aye.
Less? Mayor? Moved by Mayor Eschbach that a resolution authorizing the execution of an intergovernmental agreement for police services and a school resource officer between the City of Ottawa and Ottawa Elementary School District Number 141 be received and placed on file for public inspection.
Is there a second to the motion? Commissioner Gainier, any discussion? This is similar. This is for our part-time school resource officer. And it also provides for a slight increase in the fee that the school will pay. Motions to place that on file. Any other comment? Roll call.
Gainier?
Aye.
Eichelkraut?
Aye.
Less?
Aye.
Mayor?
Aye.
Moved by Mayor Eschbach that a resolution approving the request for qualifications for the Ottawa waterfront development be adopted.
Is there a second to the motion? Commissioner Eichelkraut. This is a document that will go out to potential developers for the private development of the downtown waterfront. It's a site overlooking Central School. We've talked about this for a long time. It's part of our comprehensive plan. This part of the plan won the Daniel Burnham Award from the American Planning Association. And it will ultimately involve a lot of money, both public and private. And I think the city council pretty much is of the opinion we don't want to spend a lot of money unless we know that there's interest in the private development project, which makes the whole thing work financially. So the time has come to test the waters and to see if we can find developers who are interested in taking on one or more of the proposed buildings for the waterfront site. So this authorizes the city to go out and ask for what we call a request for qualifications. It's not a request for a project at this point. It's just to find out who's out there and who's willing to talk and possibly take on a part of the development. Any other comments? Roll call, please.
Gainier?
Aye.
Eichelkraut?
Aye.
Less?
Aye.
Mayor?
Aye.
Moved by Mayor Eschbach that the report of the Plan Commission meetings held on Monday, April 2nd, 2018, considering the conditional use permit request for a plan unit development, including preliminary plat approval for an office building from the UAW for property located at 1000 East Center Street, be received and placed on file. Be it further moved, the council concur with the recommendations of the Plan Commission, and the conditional use permit be granted, the preliminary plat be approved, and the follow-up ordinance be passed and approved.
Is there a second to the motion? Commissioner Gainier? This is a very exciting project. The UAW's been in Ottawa for a long, long time. Unfortunately, and sort of fortunately, we're the victim of the tornado a little over a year ago and lost their motel, but it's been replaced by a much nicer and bigger and better hotel facility. And now the UAW is interested in moving its offices from the suburbs here to Ottawa. I think that's great. And they plan on building an office facility as part of that complex. But I agree with the Plan Commission. Any other comments? Roll call.
Gainier?
Aye.
Eichelkraut?
Aye.
Less?
Aye.
Mayor?
Aye.
Moved by Mayor Eschbach that the request for a fundraiser from Ottawa First to solicit firework donations on Saturday, June 23rd, 2018, at the intersections of Columbus Street and Norris Drive and Columbus Street and Main Street from 8 o'clock a.m. until 2 o'clock p.m. be approved and the city departments involved be notified of the event.
Is there a second? Commissioner Less, any discussion? Roll call.
Gainier?
Aye.
Eichelkraut?
Aye.
Less?
Aye.
Mayor?
Aye. All right, we have a proclamation here that we've been asked to adopt by the Youth Service Bureau. We've done this in the past, in recognition of Child Abuse Prevention Month. Proclamation reads, whereas preventing child abuse and neglect is a community problem that depends on the involvement among people throughout the community. And whereas child maltreatment occurs when people find themselves in stressful situations without community resources and don't know how to cope. And whereas child abuse and neglect can be reduced by making sure each family has the support they need to raise their children in a healthy environment. And whereas child abuse and neglect not only directly harms children, but also increases the likelihood of criminal behavior, substance abuse, health problems such as heart disease and obesity, and risky behavior such as smoking. And whereas effective child abuse prevention programs succeed because of partnerships created among social service agencies, schools, faith communities, civic organizations, law enforcement agencies, and the business community. Now therefore, I, Robert Eschbach, as Mayor of the City of Ottawa, on behalf of the City Council, hereby proclaim the month of April 2018 to be Child Abuse Prevention Month in Ottawa, Illinois, and encourage all citizens to support the Youth Service Bureau of the Illinois Valley and learn about the many programs and resources in our community.
Moved by Mayor Eschbach that a proclamation declaring the month of April 2018 as Child Abuse Prevention Month in the city of Ottawa be adopted.
There's a second to the motion. Commissioner Gainier, any discussion? And we really want to thank the Youth Service Bureau for all of the good work they do. It's an incredible organization. Roll call, please.
Gainier?
Aye.
Eichelkraut?
Aye.
Aye.
Mayor?
Aye. Is there anyone here from the Youth Service
I
Bureau?
don't know. I was going to
Didn't
ask
see
you.
nobody,
huh?
that's what I was
Think so.
looking.
Got a proclamation we'll get to.
Yeah. Do you have anything else, sir?
No, that's it.
Moved by Mayor Eschbach that this regular meeting be adjourned.
There's a second. Commissioner Less, roll call.
Gainier?
Aye.
Eichelkraut?
Aye.
Less?
Aye.
Mayor?
Aye. Thank you.